Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a little sketchbook tour. This is the sketchbook that I have recently finished. It's a Canson XL mixed media 5x5 by 8x5 inches sketchbook. I really like this sketchbook paper. I would highly recommend it for a sketchbook because I think it's pretty versatile. It's nice and thin, so it's not too crazy to use, and it's like really smooth, but it's also got a bit of texture, so it works great for markers, some watercolor, color pencil, all kinds of things. So I mean, it's not the kind of paper you want to use for a finished drawing or anything like that, but I think it does a really good job for sketchbooks. I really like it. I had bought the bigger ones first, and I decided to go back and get a small one because it's been a while since I had a small sketchbook, and I really enjoyed using it, although I do feel like I wish it was a little bit longer for the way I draw. But yeah, highly recommend. So on the front of the sketchbook I have a few stickers. I decided to actually be brave and use my stickers. Usually I just hoard them. I wonder if anybody else does that. These stickers actually were from a package that I got from Cherry Yuki, or Cherry Rabbit, that I had purchased her book, and she put these stickers on the outside, so I took them off and put them on my sketchbook because I don't want to waste them. They're really cute. I really love her style, and these stickers are actually just like knockoff stickers from a Taobao seller that I had gotten with my order. So I used them on my sketchbook, and yeah, I thought they were really cute. I love Sailor Moon. It's very inspirational to me, so I thought it'd be a really cute thing to put on the front of the sketchbook. So when I haven't always done this, but ever since I started YouTube, I saw other people do it, and I thought it was a really good idea. So I put little notes like the cover stickers, and also like the date that I started the sketchbook and the day I finished it, which was very useful because I always leave a few pages, or at least one page, blank in the beginning. And this isn't blank, it's actually just covered up because it's kind of personal. So when I'd finished the book, I had one page blank in the beginning, and I was writing in the date of when I finished, and I realized it was about a year that it took me to finish the sketchbook. And I was thinking about the year in which I had gone through while I was using this sketchbook. Not exclusively, but you know what I mean. And I thought that it would be a good idea to use the first page to write up a little kind of note to myself about what I was going through this year. And I covered it because it's really personal to me. I've been struggling really hard, especially this last year, and I've been doing a lot of like retrospective thinking about the future and what I can do to change the way things have been. So I decided to cover this, so it's just for me. But I think that's a good idea. If you have an empty page in the front, you want to fill it, maybe just talk about what happened while you were using the sketchbook, because I think it'll be really interesting for my future self to go back, see the sketchbook, what I drew, and then see what I was going through during that time. So 1 second while I cover the back side. Okay, so this is the first page, and I have been going through a lot this year. A lot of art block, a lot of depression, a lot of trying to figure things out. So the first part of the book, I was at a point where I wasn't drawing much, and I was having a lot of hard times trying to figure out what to draw, which I don't usually go through. It's usually more like when I get art block, I usually just feel bad about myself. But this time I was really struggling, so I started to do a bunch of draw this in their styles, and that's what the first few pages are. I think this is one of my favorites because it's a witch, so you know, and all the names of the person that I did the draw list in style is on the page, so if you're curious, you can go check them out. Some of these are better than others, but you know, that's how it is when you're not in the best art mood. And these were just for fun anyway, just to like be drawing. I think this is my favorite. Something I really love a combination of like a tan skin and light hair, or like really dark hair and really like pale skin. It's so pretty. It's just so much contrast. This one did not go out so well. I was kind of sad that this one didn't go as well, but it was just one of those days, you know. This one is just a random drawing. I think I had finished the draw list on the styles at that point and just started drawing randomly. And this, I was just playing around with that thing I had bought. Let me see if I can find it, because I don't know how to describe it. This thing, I was playing around to try to figure out how to use it. So I just left the page like that because I thought it looked kind of cool. I still don't quite know how to use that thing. This was actually a half-finished drawing that I came back and finished. I had just done this part and I came in and did a mermaid later when I was finishing the sketchbook. But I used color pencils and I feel like I shouldn't have. I feel like I should have maybe used marker and it would have been a little bit nicer. But the Fine Tech looks really good. This is the Fine Tech Gold watercolor. It looks really nice on the little weird moon shape with this. Like, it's not really moon anymore like that, but whatever. These are all just playing around with, I had done a video, I think it was, where I had shown the different dip pens, and that's what that page is. And then over here I was just playing around with like the pocket brush, Pentel pocket brush pen thing, that kind of thing, which I don't really, I cannot mesh well with them, so I was just playing around to see if I could do anything decent with those. This is another from that video where I had just shown like the different widths of the different pens, and this is just the mesh up of like swatches and stuff. These are the Posca pen swatches. This is more real to what like a sketchbook really looks like for me, to have just junk pages sometimes. And this was the Posca pen, me trying to figure it out, which was kind of a fail. I haven't really touched them since, to be honest. Well, no, that's not true. I did one more drawing in here after the video, but I think they're just not for me, really, not for like a full drawing. It just makes everything look kind of childish, so I wasn't super happy with it. This is also done with the Posca pens. And then this was Inktober stuff. So I was attempting to do a little bit of Inktober here. I believe this is already Inktober. Yeah, October 21st. This was another Posca pen thing. And another Inktober. Me trying to attempt to put in some meaning into my art, which I struggle with, because I don't know if anybody else ever feels this way, but every time I try to put meaning in, it seems good in the moment, but then later I feel kind of embarrassed by it. I feel like I didn't do it right. That's just kind of what I go through. I have a hard time trying to translate that kind of thing onto paper properly. It doesn't always hit the emotion that I wanted. And these were just some sketches. I did try to watch the Adventures of Sabrina, I think they're called, something like that, on Netflix when it first came out, but then I got pretty disgusted and stopped watching. And this is just that it was like a vampire, but it also reminds me of that one anime vampire girl that a lot of people draw. I don't really know what it's from, but I really like her character design. I think it's really cute. And these were notes from the 25 days challenge, the fairy thing. So I was just writing different ideas for what the themes could be throughout the month, and just a few like sketches, rough sketches of what I could maybe do for poses. And an abandoned sketch that's very sketchbooky for me. Another abandoned sketch. I think I was trying to go for the I was really into the music video for League of Legends, the K-pop one. I forget what it's called right now. It's just not coming to me, but I don't play League of Legends, but I really love that music video. I think the art's really cool. And I was trying to draw the character I like with the Ninetales, but it was one of those days where it was not going to come out right, and I abandoned. Then I did some mermaids. I did a few mermaids with some color pencils. I think they were the very thin color pencils, the ones that are really like kind of hard. And they don't put out a lot of color, so I was just playing around with that in the sketchbook, and I was just trying to get back into things, but I still felt like there were certain wonkiness in these drawings, but sometimes you just gotta keep going in order to get past that. I like this one better, but something about the colors maybe isn't great. And then this one I had turned into a digital line art for my patrons to color. So if you ever want to color this, I did change it a little bit when I did it. I like perfected it a bit. If you want to color this, then just check out my Patreon. You can still pledge to the $1 tier and download all the coloring pages anytime. And another mermaid. I kind of like this one. It reminds me of like something about like the back side of her with just the silhouette like that. Reminds me of like art you might see on like mask or facial product, especially geared at like young girls, like something from my childhood, like when I was 12, 13, you might see on products that people were selling you know what I mean? I just thought it was really cute and kind of reminded me of childhood a bit, or teenagehood, I guess. I don't know. And one more, I was trying to do like the wider flat fish, I don't forget what they're called, that kind of look, and I gave her some roses. I don't know, just general sketchbook stuff. And this one I think is really pretty. After that, I played around with the same color pencils some more and just did some rough stuff and just a plain color pencil drawing. That's actually something I want to do more of. I want to do more like just pencil drawings, full pencil. I mean, this isn't very detailed, it's just kind of a quick thing, but I mean, like, I used to do that a lot when I was younger, and I just don't. This also, I never really colored, and I just uploaded to my patrons to do a coloring page with. And this, I was playing around with some new watercolors. So I just did like heart swatches, and these are all like colors that were combining the other colors. Color mixing, that's the word, color mixing. These are just color mixing. This was another drawing where I was trying to put emotion in, trying to flesh out my emotion for how I was feeling about social media at the time. And I felt like it was good at the time when I was drawing it, but then like later I felt kind of embarrassed. I don't know if that's just my thing when it comes to anything where I put thought into it, like emotion, my own personal emotion. I try to put it onto paper so that it's impactful and it just doesn't, yeah, I don't know I don't know how to say it. It's just like that. I also tried again for the kind of feeling I was feeling at the time, because I was in a pretty low time when I drew these last few ones, and I just felt like there was like a weight on me and I didn't know how to express it really. Then I drew a cute unicorn girl, which I actually took this and I blew it up and I put it on a bigger paper, so I will be coloring this in the future. I really love how her, just like the lines look, like it feels like a really nice flow, and the tilt of her head turned out really good. It was one of those days when suddenly I was having a good drawing day. This one is alright. I was just playing around, and I think I also used the Pentel Pocket brush pen to do the hair, and then some color pencil over top, which is my favorite little trick when I was younger, before I got like YouTube or like met any artists outside to know if they did it too. I would cheat and do like all black with like a marker and then go over it with color pencil, and it was like the easiest way to get like some quick highlights without having to do the detailed hair where you leave it white. Another attempt with the Posca pen, another messy drawing. I think this might have been my final attempt. Another drawing that I think turned out pretty cool. It's like a fairy with her wings down, and I do believe I blew this up so I could do a bigger one. This is why I wish that these books were just a little longer, because when I draw full body, I always feel like I'm cutting off a bit, which is, you know, some practice would fix that, but still. One of my patrons had requested a genie girl for a coloring book page, and I thought that'd be really cool. I hadn't drawn anything like that for a while. So the first drawing I did was pretty much Jasmine. And I was like, yeah, that's not quite right. And then this was the genie that I actually posted as a line art for my patrons. Of course, this is just the rough. I had actually refined it and then I put a little lamp down here. So if you want to color this, then definitely check out my Patreon as well. The link is all in the description below. Another attempt at showing how I was feeling at the time, kind of like I was trying again to feel like put in that feeling of weight, something weighing me down all the time, and this was the best I could do for that. It was just a really quick one though. Sometimes it's therapeutic to do all these scratchy lines. And I was just working on, I was trying to draw a lamp for that genie drawing, and it just, it was not looking right at all. After that, I got a bit more, I think from this point on, I was trying to fill the pages a bit more. So I did some kind of gestures and just really rough playing around. This is the kind of stuff that I would put on like a doodle sheet when I'm like on the phone and waiting for somebody for a long time, that kind of thing. Plus, of course, flowers, hearts, and eyes. Those are the things I doodle. And this was me trying to figure out how to use watercolor markers and brush pen, which I still don't quite know how to use either of those. Here I was testing out some markers, and I just did with these colors, just these three together. I think she's my favorite out of the three because I think her color combination looks really good. Although I see some discoloration here, and I wonder if that was there before or if it kind of faded. I wonder if these colors changed since I did this, because it looks kind of unintentional. That's interesting. I also put some notes here about what I thought about the markers so I could see it later, so I'll cover it because that'll be a review one day. And here I did a color pencil, or no, just a pencil drawing, and I just did a little bit of watercolor in the background. I think it looks really cool. Something about it reminds me of like, kind of like Labyrinth, that kind of thing. And another one where I kind of did color pencil, and then I just went over it with a little bit of colored color pencil. Wait, I did pencil, that's the right. I did a pencil drawing, and then I went over it with color pencil and a little black watercolor, I think it was, from the back. And it was just trying to be more sketchy at this point. I was just trying to explore and be more sketchy in my sketchbook. And this is just a girl, just nonsensical. This reminds me of art I used to do a lot when I was younger, like back when I was like 18 plus and posting on DeviantArt a lot, and I was really into Visual K. It was, I drew this at a point when I was starting to get into, I think I had already started my break from social media, which I'll talk about in another video, and I was starting to get back into listening to VK and J-Rock more, and it kind of just brought out all these feelings like when I was younger, and I used to draw like this a lot, and I was trying to get back to that. And then after that, I just suddenly wanted to listen to Kiyoharu, so I played some of his music, and I was trying to attempt to draw him from what's it called? I was trying to draw him from references on Google of Kiyoharu, and it is not easy at all. And I was also trying to fill the page more. Here again, these are images of Kiyoharu that I found really interesting, so I was trying to draw them from the references, the real life references. I splashed a little bit of watercolor here. I wasn't doing like anything super detailed or trying too hard, but I actually found that these little exercises, even though it doesn't look like, oh my god, that looks just like him kind of thing, it's not like super realism, it actually is very helpful exercise. I would highly recommend it. And then here I did an even more different exercise for me. I was attempting to draw this pose of him, and I just couldn't get it. So I actually took my phone, put it underneath, and I traced the real life picture of Kiyoharu. And then, oh no, sorry, this is Hyde already. I traced the real life picture of Hyde, and then just like hid the form of his body. And then I looked at that and the real picture to get this version of it. So I feel like it really helped me to get the form, and I think the hardest part is to get like head tilts. Like when somebody in real life tilts their head just a little bit, I have a hard time getting that tilt right on paper. So this is what I was attempting to do to make it, like, make my brain make the connection so I could get a little bit closer to that. And I did it here too, where I traced this from the actual image of Hyde, and then I tried to do my own version here. And of course it's not perfect, but I feel like it did help, and it was really interesting experiment. This one was freehand from imagination, based on what I had done earlier and what I had learned. So, you know, it's interesting. This was Rema 1/2, based on the cue basket I have, which I will show you. It's just the poses based off of the cue basket. So sometimes when I really don't know what to draw, I'll just look around my room and I'll look at like my Monster High dolls or my cue baskets and look for a pose from there. And I just do Rema, and I use some markers to test them out as well. And this is just a random drawing. I really like this. This kind of reminds me of stuff I used to draw again when I was younger. And it's just mostly pen, but I think I went over with some marker maybe. I don't remember if it was marker or some like watercolor, just a little gray in her hair. And yeah, it probably was marker, just for some shadows. And these were some poses. I believe this is when I went and looked up Senshi stock on DeviantArt, and I was just looking for some difficult poses to try. And again, I did a trace method, and then I freehanded it 3 times till I got as close as I could. And it's a really good exercise. I would highly suggest that. Of course, don't trace other people's art. Trace from the real photo of the person, because I think that's more interesting. To actually try to figure out how to look at somebody and get the shapes and the lines and the just everything a bit more accurate. And of course I'm still stylizing it, but I'm still trying to improve the way the body shape is. And then these are just freehand. These are the last 2 pictures in the book. Just freehand ink drawings. I really like the face and the hair on this one, and again, this reminds me of something I would have done before, and I really like it. I really like how I feel like I started this book in a really bad way, like emotionally, and like not knowing what to draw, and by the last page I was in a lot better place. So this sketchbook is like a little journey for me, and I'm really happy that I have it. So yeah, that's my little sketchbook tour. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, definitely let me know. Give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. Let me know what kind of stuff you put in your sketchbook, and if it's more finished and refined than this, or if it's like more messy. I think it's really interesting to talk about that kind of stuff. All kinds of stuff could be in the air, but this is really typical for me to have these like abandoned, half-finished pages, along with some, you know, just small drawings and stuff. And I'm really happy that I did some of the exploring and trying new things in the back as well, because I do feel like when I did that, I only spent like maybe 3 days, 3 separate like sittings, 3 different days, those are the words. I only did this for a short while, just doing this practice, but I felt like it really did help my art to level up tiny bit for a short while. So if you do that kind of thing, sometimes it can really help. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching again, and I will see you next time. Bye.